Hello, I am Umbrenero and welcome back to Umbrenero's Life. Today's video is supply testing and swatching. Back at the start of the year, I decided to go through all of my pens, markers, and various other supplies that I use for journaling, crafts, and a whole bunch of other things. And I decided I wanted to see what worked better on regular paper and for some, how they worked on dark paper. So I got straight into this. Like I said before, this was back in January? Yeah, January when I did this. I took time, figured out what the names of some of these colors were just by the numbers written on the barrel of the pens. So this took me well over 3 hours to do all this testing on the various pens and supplies. And it gave me a good idea of what all I did have available. And yes, my camera did not like the fact that I was focused on white paper while I was trying to do this. So it does get blurry a few times throughout, but it happens. But this gave me a good idea of what all I have, what these colors actually look like, and things like that. Because looking at the cap tip of markers only shows you so much. It doesn't show you what it actually looks like on paper. And I can say my Tombow collection has actually increased since this video. So I probably should add in the ones that I have received since. But it also let me show and figure out what all I have marker wise, because there are times where I want a certain color, and if I don't have to think what color it is by looking at the cap, that'll come in handy. This also gave me a chance to go through and toss markers that no longer were working or not keeping, but were not providing color or ink in general. So it was a way to narrow down my collection, which that's always a thing that if I can do it, I will. And there really was no specific way that I did this for each color. I really went and just did them as I went. And if they broke while I was testing it, that helped me determine if I was tossing it or not. I don't know why, but the blurs, they happen. And for some reason, when I was going through my highlighters, I decided I wanted to group them by color somewhat, and it worked. But going through like I did here helped me determine what to toss, what to keep, what am I not using as much anymore. Because some of these I had forgot that I even had. Like my Papermate flares. Or a brand new set of markers that I had never used that had issues. So you don't know that until you start trying. And then came the pens. So as I was going through them, if there was one I didn't like the style of and all of that, I put it in a pile and gave it to my husband for him to deal with. Which happens quite a bit with pens and stuff like that. But when I did the pens, it helped me narrow them down by half of how many were there. So by going through all of these, I realized I have a lot of pens and markers that I don't get to use quite often. So maybe I'll do something in the future here where I'm actually utilizing these utensils and actually putting them to use. One of the markers that I realized I had not gone through in a long time were my Sharpies and other permanent markers. So it let me see which ones were drying out or not really usable anymore. Like all the other things that I was going through. Like looking at how many pens, markers, and that I have a large collection, and I probably should make it smaller, but that's where when I do my content planning, these markers, specifically the Bic ones, are what I use to track where I'm at in my process with my videos. So I know these ones are at least starting to get use, but I gotta find ways to use them more. But in all, going through all of this was probably very helpful and something I should have done before. But I finally got to it. Yes, that was back in January. And I have gotten a few more markers, not many. But it is what it is. So, thank you for watching. And until next time, I am Umbrenero. Bye!